Welcome to this week's moonLight of Emuna, Parshas Korach. This week's learning should be a schus for Fu Shlema from Feitel ben Yehudis, Yudim Menachem ben Chama Pramakalia, Shmuel Shezal ben Chavachavim, Menachem Mordechai ben Ofira, and Lili Nishmas, Charnamash bas Menachem Mendel, Ratza bas Menachem Mendel, and Heni bas Yechiel Mechel. So this week, Parshas Korach, I decided to do something a little bit different because I have this Shabbos, I have the ofruf of my soon-to-be son, Dovi Greenberg, the wedding in Mitzvah Shem in a little less than 2 weeks of Dovi and my daughter Chaviva. So I'm thinking in terms of marriage, and maybe I'll use this or part of this when I speak at the Afruf, so bear with me. So we start off this week's Parsha, we open with the words Vayikach Korach, Korach took. But the Torah doesn't tell us what he took. Right, so Rashi quotes the Medrash Tanchuma that says that Korach took himself. He separated himself from the Eda. Right, Rashi's words are Lokach es atzmai litzad echad lias nechlak mitoich Eda le'oyer ala kahuna. He took himself apart. He separated himself from Klal Yisrael to fight over the kahuna. Meaning, what he did was he separated himself and he took his own ego to pursue his own honor and agenda. He saw Moshe and Aaron's greatness and honor, and he wanted to take them for himself. Now, if we have a similar question on another word, kicha, of Vayikach. We have in Parshas Truma, back in Parshas Truma, when Hashem is telling the Jewish people to donate to the Mishkan, it says, Vayikchu li Truma. They should take for me a donation. And there too, the Torah's choice of the language of taking is odd, right? As many of the Mefarshim point out, it should have said, Vayitnu li. When you give a donation, you don't take one. And there Rashi, again quoting the Medrash Tanchuma, offers us 2 words of explanation. He says, Li lishmi. For me, for my sake, Hashem says. So the Sfas Emes and others explain that the Torah is teaching us how to take. Everything we take in life has to have a singular purpose. To give for the sake of Hashem, to give a nachas ruach to Hashem. When we take something of ours, and we use it for Hashem, we're giving. We give of ourselves for Hashem's take. Well, what we're doing is we're taking nitzchias for ourselves. We convert our money into kedusha. So we take the money, right? It's really giving. We're giving the money, but by giving the money, we're really taking. We're taking something for ourselves. We're taking something that's temporary and materialistic in this world, our money, our possessions, and we're doing an act of giving. But what we're really doing is we're taking. We're taking for ourselves. We're being kind of for ourselves a kinyan. We're taking a kinyan of something eternal. We're acquiring something eternal. So these 2 ideas of taking, Vayikach Korach and Vayikchu li Truma, are 2 complete polar opposite versions of taking. Korach's was a self-centered and ego-driven, and the Truma was an act of giving, of taking of oneself and contributing for a higher purpose. This contrast can help us explain something else, another type of taking in the Torah. When Hashem created Chava, the Torah says, Vayikach achas mitzaloisav. Hashem took one of Adam's ribs, his sides, his bones, however you translate mitzaloisav, and fashioned it into his wife. That's the very first marriage in history, and it begins with a kicha. Adam giving up a part of himself and receiving a wife. Now, which type of taking was this? So this language appears again when it comes to the halachas of marriage. The Gemara in Kedushin asks, how do we know that one of the ways to affect Kedushin between a chas and kala is with money? And the Gemara darshans Gzer Shava. It says, Gamar kicha mistei Ephron. We learn Gzer Shava of the words kicha, of kach, of taking, from mistei Ephron. Ksiv hacha, it says by marriage in Parshas Kiseitze, ki yikach ish isha, when a man takes a wife. Right? Uksiv Hasam, and it says over there when Avram is buying the field from Ephron, it says Nasati Kesef Hasada Kach Mimeni. Avram says to Ephron, take the money from me, and he buys the Mars of Achpela. So just as Avram took the field through money, so too marriage is affected through a form of kicha, through money. Now, at first glance, this choice of kicha seems so strange. Marriage is built on love, commitment, giving. So why does the Torah refer to it through the language of taking? And we have this whole drush of kicha. So the Torah is teaching us there's 2 very different types of kicha, of taking. The drush of Kedushin hints to the existence of these 2 types of kicha. That's why the drush is referred to by Chazal as kicha. There's the kicha of Korach, taking for oneself, asking, what can I gain? What do I deserve? How can I advance my own interests? That kind of taking creates distance, conflict, and ultimately being swallowed by the earth, being swallowed up by our earthly pleasures and desires, relentlessly chasing materialism and self-indulgence. But then there's the kicha of Adam, the kicha of Avram Avinu, the kicha of Vayikchu li Truma. It's a taking that's really an act of giving, a taking that builds something larger than oneself, a taking that that's in line with Ratzon Hashem. It's not a taking to diminish, but a taking to complete. We can look at the taking from Adam as a loss or a gain. To the selfish person, he lost a part of himself. Hashem cut out a rib. Hashem cut out bones from him. But anybody with a little chachma, with a little wisdom, can see that it was a taking in order to create connection, partnership, a wholeness. It was a taking to give by populating the world. Adam literally gave of himself so that he would fulfill Hashem's plan for the world. Avram Avinu tells Ephron to take the money, thereby connecting the Jewish people to Eretz Yisrael. Ephron didn't have good intentions, but his act of taking gave so much in furthering Hashem's ratzon of connecting us with the land. The chassan places a ring on the kala's finger and says, Hareat mikudeshes li. The Torah calls this a kicha, right? It's kicha kicha. Ki yikach ish isha. It's a kicha. It reminds the chassan and kala that they have two choices. Kicha kicha. They could see their marriage as vayikach Korach, and each one pursue their own self-interests, or they can choose the kicha of Adam, of Avram, or v'yikuli truma. But the lashon that every Jewish chassan uses, it makes the choice clear. Because what does the chassan say when he puts the ring on the finger of the kali? Hareat, we just mentioned it. Hareat mikudeshes li. We enter this marriage to increase kedusha, to live for each other, to give, to live for Hashem. It's a declaration that from this day forward, each spouse will give of themselves for the sake of the other, and for the sake of the home they'll build together. To build a bayis that will be li lishmi, to further build Klal Yisrael and increase kvod shemayim. So that's why the first marriage in the Torah uses the word vayikach. Vayikach achas mitzalosav. Hashem took one of Adam's, a piece of his body. A successful marriage is born when each partner is willing to give a piece of themselves, not losing themselves, but investing themselves in order to create a greater whole. Just as Adam and Chava were originally one and then reunited, right? Originally she was part of Adam's body. Husband and wife spend a lifetime transforming I into we. Now that was my piece for an upcoming marriage. But the truth is, this is everything in our daily lives, right? Hashem gives us so much, and we take. We're takers by nature. Our relationship with Hashem is we're takers. Hashem doesn't need us, right? We've spoken about this many times. Even our mitzvahs that we do for Hashem, He doesn't need them. Hashem is a giver, and Hashem created us so that He can give to us. We are takers. By nature, we're takers. But we have a choice in everything that we do. How are we going to take? Hashem gives us parnasa. Are we going to take that for our own selfish interests and to indulge in everything that we want to indulge in? Not that we were saying chas v'shalom. We never say, of course, a Jew should have good things, and a Jew should enjoy the revach, the profits that Hashem gives him. Of course. But what's my primary goal when I look at the things that Hashem gave me? Yes, of course, I'm a human being, and I need to have certain things, and I need to enjoy my life and to be besimcha. But the purpose of it is to further my avodas Hashem. Hashem gave me a good parnasa this year. That means I have more time to learn. That means I have more money to give to tzedakah. That means I have more ability to help other people. Hashem gives us health. That's great, and everybody should feel good. All Jews should feel good, and any who are sick should be cured. As we start off every week here with the refuah shleimas, everybody should be good. But we have to stop and appreciate that. When we take from Hashem, we have to stop and appreciate. Hashem gives me so much. I could be a taker like Korach and only look to see how can I build my ego more. How can I increase my own personal honor? How I can do more things for myself. Or I could take in a way that transforms it into kedusha, into eternal things. Right? Hashem gives us shidduchim. Hashem gives us children. Hashem gives us all these things. We need to take that taking, but I take it as the Sfas Emes said. I could read you the words of the Sfas Emes. He says, "Ki tzarich lias halakicha mikol davar rak litzarich hanasina elav yisbarach." Every time we take, we have to figure out how do I use it to give back to Hashem. That's v'yichuli shekol pu'ula u'maisa shemekabelas la'adam. That every action that a person does, for roitzel asos l'zdavik, that he does it so that Hashem is going to be happy and he'll connect to Hashem. It should be Yihirak l'shmo yisbarach. It should be only for Hashem's sake. Sheyitzmach mizeh nachas ruach elav yisbarach. To give Hashem nachas ruach, to give Hashem pleasure. When we take things like that, when we turn, we take things and we say, "Thank you, Hashem, for my parnasa. Thank you, Hashem, for my health. Thank you, Hashem, for all these gifts in my life, for my house, for that my eyes work, that my ears work, that my legs work, that I'm able to go do things, to do mitzvahs, that I'm able to go help other people. Thank you, Hashem." Then what we do is we turn that taking into a giving. We turn that taking into a gift back to Hashem. We make it into a two-way street. Again, not that he needs it, but that's what Hashem wants us to do. For our own sakes also. We take something and we turn it into eternal. We turn it into something amazing. So yes, we're takers by nature. A human being, we need things. We need people. We need friends. We need family. We need all these things, and Hashem gives them to us, and Hashem is happy to give them to us, and He wants us to take. But we have to remember that this drasha, when it comes to marriage, and it's not just true for marriage; it's true for every day of our lives. Kicha kicha. The reason Chazal, the Gemara uses those words kicha kicha. It's Gemara Kedushin, the first daf in Kedushin, the first Amud in Kedushin. Kicha kicha is reminding. It reminds the chas and kala. Make sure you know how to choose. There are two types of kicha. There's kicha kicha, and it's up to us, the one who's receiving, to decide how he's going to receive and what he's going to do with those gifts that he's receiving. Just like the chas and kala have to decide: are they going to be selfish, or are they going to take this gift of a chasen, of their chasen or their kala, and use it to give to the other one, and to build a bayis neman, and to give back to Hashem and show Hashem that we're fulfilling His desire that we build good holy Jewish marriages. We do this every day. We take so much from Hashem every single day. We have to remember which type is it going to be, a kicha of Korach, or is it going to be a kicha of Avram Avinu, or it's going to be a kicha of a Yichuli Truma, or by Adam Arishan? What type of kicha are we going to do? Are we going to take and that's it? I take and it's all about me, or am I taking for the sake of Hashem, for the sake of my wife, for the sake of my family, for the sake of serving Hashem? And if I focus on the right type of kicha, so then everything that we get as a gift, we're turning into something nitzchi, something eternal for that will stay with us forever, and it gives Hashem nachas ruach, and it gives us more strength, and it gives Hashem the ratzon to give us more. Hashem says, "Oh, you picked the right type of kicha. This is the person I want to keep giving to. He's a person who knows how to choose which kicha. This is a person who knows how to take. He knows how to take, but it's not taking for selfish purposes. It's taking so he can do, so he can use, so he can produce." And I for myself, I'll just throw in one personal note. Baruch Hashem, if two chasen is coming up in the next 2 months, but such a gift from Hashem. We have to remind ourselves of all the gifts that we have, and we sometimes get caught up with the preparations and the planning and the various different stresses that come up. But we have to stop and say, "Thank you, Hashem. Thank you, Hashem, that you've given us everything you've given us. You've given us the ability to walk our children down to the chuppah. You've given us the ability to give tzedakah. You've given us the ability to learn Torah. You've given us the ability. We have beautiful shuls in all the from neighborhoods now. We have beautiful homes. We all these gifts are here, and Hashem wants us to enjoy them, but He wants us to also remember what's the purpose, what's the ultimate goal, and not to get caught up in the smallness and the silliness that we tend to get caught up as is human nature. And that's why we have to remember kicha mistei Ephron. And actually in Stei Ephron itself, I'm not going to expound on it, you had two sides there. You had Ephron, who was a taker, and you had Avram Avinu, who was taking to connect the Jewish people to the land of Israel, to put a proper burial place for his wife, to take that holy place of Maras Machpelah that we all still go daven to, and to turn that into something that's kedusha. So with that, I wish you all the proper perspective to remember which kicha, which type of lokeach we want to be, and to turn every blessing in our lives into something for Hashem, and something that will stay with us for all eternity. And I wish you all a beautiful, wonderful Shabbos.